Welcome to another episode of Bourbon and Data Breaches, where we cover 5 of the most interesting breaches from this last week. I'm Steve.
I'm Connor.
And Frank.
This week's breach breakdown includes batteries, books, and blueprints when hackers attack everything from EVs to education. Starting with story number 1. Emerson, the industrial automation and energy tech leader, LOP Ransomware just hit Emerson, a company that helps keep power grids and factories running. The attackers allegedly leaked engineering files and manufacturing documents because apparently we've entered the part of the cyber age where your light switch depends on ransomware negotiations.
This is big 2025 energy, a tech company that keeps factories, refineries, and power grids behaving. And the next surprise when the real world panics, if this leak really includes engineering files and manufacturing docs, we're not just talking about extortion, but something like industrial sabotage with a customer service tone. We've officially reached the point where critical infrastructure doesn't fail because of storms or shortages, but because of someone with a Telegram handle thinking your internal network looks monetizable. So good luck explaining to a CEO that a ransomware crew now understands their supply chain better than their own board.
Yeah, it's an interesting point, Frank. I think, ransomware attacks these days are much more frequent than natural disasters, but can have a similar impact in infrastructure, utilities, et cetera, especially in cases like this. Most people are familiar with Emerson, some may not be, but there's a very deep ties with Emerson in industrial automation, of course, energy, government as well. So I'm sure there's some very, very sensitive engineering data that could compromise sensitive processes, sensitive data, sensitive clients, and ultimately, potentially serious national security risks. Also, I'll point out last week I mentioned that Clop seemed like they were back. I think they're now up to 44 victims in November that they've claimed. We'll see if they continue on this trend for the rest of the month. But yeah, I think once they hit 50 victims a month, we can say Clop is back.
Moving right along to LG Energy Solutions out of South Korea. LG Energy Solutions is a global battery manufacturer, and they met Akira this week. That's right, Akira ransomware hit LG Energy Solutions, one of the biggest EV battery producers on the planet. They allegedly leaked R&D files and client contracts, proving even clean energy can get dirty when hackers show up.
LG Energy Solutions, as the name mentions, a branch of LG. It's difficult, when we're dealing with an attack from Akira. So yeah, Akira giving a new meeting to draining your battery, right? So definitely similar to what we just talked about with Emerson. This is a company that has international ties, a lot of production, as mentioned during the intro by Steve, right? One of the largest producers of batteries, very sensitive data. And again, we'll see what the impact comes from, but Akira, not to be messed with.
Did you think we're done talking about Akira? Think again, because we have Hydroscan, a company out of Sweden that is involved in hydraulic and industrial hose manufacturing. Akira didn't stop with batteries. They also went after Hydroscan, a company that makes hoses and hydraulic systems. That's right. Hackers are now extorting the literal plumbing of modern industry. They've gone from digital leaks to physical leaks.
Yep, another Akira victim, as you mentioned, and actually the third manufacturing or industrial related victim we talked about in a row. Traditionally, an industry that might not feel they are a target for these ransomware gangs, but absolutely are. We can see how these attacks can impact supply chain, global distribution. A lot of these larger industrial manufacturing organizations have direct ties to national or international governments that can be very sensitive. These attacks against, even if it is an industrial hose manufacturer, can still lead to a lot of serious risk. And to highlight that further, it looks like Hydroscan was founded in 1969, and this would be their first ransomware attack that I've seen in their history. So no one is safe, even if you've been safe for the last 70 plus years, almost 70 years.
It seems like hackers have visually managed to graduate from stealing data to screwing with the plumbing of industry. When you see extortion campaigns target the people who manufacture the components that stop machines from exploding, you start believing that cybercrime is getting way too comfortable. We can say we have digital leaks that are officially becoming physical leaks.
We are back again to Clop. Clop decided to go to university. Tulane University joined the cyber syllabus this week, courtesy of Clop. The hackers reportedly leaked student records, research data, and faculty emails. Congratulations, hackers. You've just failed Ethics 101.
They reportedly leaked student records, faculty emails, and research data, which is pretty much the academic holy. They've managed to weaponize procrastination season, because nothing says innovation like attacking a university during finals and turning their inboxes into a liability exhibit. Hackers said they were after higher learning, but I don't think they meant it literally.
I was curious if Tulane University offered a cybersecurity major for undergraduates. Looked it up and they do not. So there might be some conversations to potentially add that as a degree program, right? But in all seriousness, academic data, student data, research data, all threatens, privacy, intellectual property, credibility of this, actually pretty highly regarded private institution. And, it can even affect grants. There's a lot of implications here. When we talk about higher education, we're seeing more and more victims that fit this profile.
And the last story of today is Under Armour. The global sports apparel brand had an apparel meeting with Everest. Everest ransomware allegedly leaked payroll data, product designs, and marketing plans. So if your running shoes look a little suspiciously familiar on knockoff sites this week, now you know why.
I wonder what Everest demanded as payment here. Is it a few pallets of shoes and tracks and workout equipment? Under Armour is a household name these days in terms of apparel brand in the US in particular, as far as I can speak to. I'm not wearing Under Armour right now, but I definitely do on occasion. Hopefully my personal data from a purchase in the past is not included here. It looks like this is focused on employee data, design data. I imagine companies like Under Armour would have some secretive clothing designs and new shoe designs that they probably don't want out there. Possibly those could be impacted here.
To interrupt you there, Connor, but from the sample they gave purchase data.
Yep.
So yeah, your purchases are potentially included in that.
Yeah. So I mentioned hopefully. I don't know if I ever bought directly from Under Armour, if I bought from clothing outlets that would put me one step away. Hopefully. I'm not sure, but we'll see. Yes, definitely impacts quite a few people and potentially myself included.
Your purchase data is not safe, Connor.
I'm trying to be hopeful here.
I don't think we can say your purchase data is safe. And everyone's going to know how much you spend on Under Armour. The tracksuits, we'll have to see if Everest has some brand new tracksuits.
Oh.
They may be the most stylish ransomware gang, but yes, purchase data was included.
I can picture their prototypes showing up on AliExpress with a logo that looks like it was drawn by, I don't know, Everest didn't hit just an apparel brand. They hit the lifestyle machine behind it. I guess nothing like ransomware to remind a global sports company that even the strongest have a weak endpoint.
I was walking by an Under Armour store just yesterday. I thought they have some nice polos. We'll have to see if this includes store data as well. Well, this week, everything from factories to universities, data centers, and designer sneakers, ransomware doesn't discriminate. This week's breaches show hackers target everything from blue-collar infrastructure to Ivy League inboxes to the collar manufacturers themselves. This has been your Bourbon and Data Breaches, reminding you that when you make power grids, gym clothes, or PhDs, someone's already planning to leak your data. Encrypt it, back it up, and maybe stop naming your ransomware groups after mountains. Or do. There's plenty of room for the Andes ransomware gang. What's a good mountain in Argentina that we can name a ransomware gang after, Frank?
A good name in Argentina, I mean, that's a hard one. I don't know. Tango?
Tango?
Two. Probably two. Yeah.
That's a great ransomware gang. All right. Giving out some good ideas. If there ends up being a Tango ransomware gang next year, then it's your fault.
I promise.
Thanks, everyone.